All right, you all. So today we have Angelo Maniego from the Roseman University of Health Sciences College of Dental Medicine. So it's a lot to say, right? Angelo, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. I'm doing well. How are you holding up with all this corona going on?
Hey man, just trying to stay busy. Picked up some new hobbies and just trying to be safe.
Right. No, that's all we can do. It's frustrating sometimes because, of course, we want to be out, we want to be with our patients, but in hindsight, us staying home is like the best thing that we can really do. So
Exactly.
it is what it is. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So, bro, if you can give us a brief summary of your dental school journey. So, where you went to undergrad, what you major in, where you're from, and did you take a year off?
Okay. So I'm originally from Rockland, California, which is about 30 minutes northeast of Sacramento. Um, I went to undergrad at Pacific Union College in Napa, and I majored in biology, just like majority of us.
Right.
And then, so I graduated in 13, and I did a post-bac program. I applied the prior year of my graduation. I was like, they told me try to get into master's of post-bac program. So I did that for about a couple years, and I took a huge gap year. I took about 4 years of
Oh,
just trying to get in more dental assisting, and and then I also worked for Invisalign. Did some research there for a little bit, just kind of expand, my experience. So
awesome, awesome. And so, okay, so you had a big chunk of time off. So, if you're cool to disclose, how many times did you take the DAT?
so oh, here we go. I took the GATs. Are you ready for this? 5 times, guys. You
Hold on, I have okay. So look, this is a perfect example, right? Because the rumors out there are that like you can only take the DAT 3 times and like you're out.
Mhm.
Like that's what I've heard. But
Okay.
obviously not, because here you are, you took it 5 times and you're in a great school. So we don't have to go through the stories. You don't have to, you don't have to tell me what went wrong, but
For sure.
tell me what went right. Like what made that last DAT attempt like the right attempt? Because everybody's always asking us, what's the number one tip for the DAT? So like, what was that thing
Mhm.
that you found that you wish you had done the first time, or that you ended up doing the last time to get the score that you wanted?
Okay. So I think the first couple times I was taking it, I just wasn't disciplined enough.
Okay.
And so when I graduated, I was like, man, all my friends are already getting to dental school, and I'm not. Like, this is not cool. I've always wanted to become a dentist. But that last time, so after the fourth time, I was just like, truthfully, I was like, man, is this even for me?
Yeah.
Then I decided, you know what? If I can't do it myself, maybe I could finally reach out to someone that could help me.
Mm-hmm.
So something that I did differently was I got a tutor with him every week. Like this guy scored 27. He goes to UCLA dental school now, but it was just like I think having someone there to kind of guide me with like the concepts to get me to really understand because it's been a while that I was in school, so it was just like hard for me to kind of get back in that study mode.
Right.
And
Of course.
I, I took bio and general chemistry back first year of undergrad. It's
Right.
just
Right.
been a while, so I think and then it kind of trained me to become more disciplined, and really just take that time to like really learn this material versus just answering the questions and then trying to get a good score. It just doesn't work that way.
Wow. Wow. No, that's awesome. I think that's actually great because I think a lot of people, I haven't heard that in this round of the dental school series. Like, I have not heard that somebody got a tutor. I think that that's very it can be humbling, I'm sure. But humility will get you where you need to be. So that's awesome, and the fact that you never gave up. So that's awesome. I think that's a great lesson for a lot of pre-dents. And so obviously you took the DAT again. So your school, Roseman, did you all have any type of were there any type of pre-dental programs that you were involved in to kind of show your face and like show your interest? Like, did your school have anything like that?
Yeah, so right now there's two pre-dental things that are set up at Roseman. So last year there was a pre-dental day for that's set up by ASDA, and that's the first time they've done that. I was able to help, which is great, but that one is basically an introduction about, or like how the school is, or like how to apply, or like what we're looking for. And then the one that I've attended the year before when I applied was the sim course that we have. Well, it's supposed to be happening in 2 weeks, but it's not happening anymore.
Right.
They have a sim course day. So basically it's like a day in the life of a dental student. They get to drill teeth, talk about like different procedures that they do, and just more hands-on, and kind of talk about Roseman. So those are 2 things.
Awesome. Okay, and so obviously you did well in your DAT, you did your master's program, so you got an interview at Roseman. And a lot of pre-dents are very nervous about the whole interview process. So if you could kind of just like walk us through what your interview day was like.
Sure. So it's pretty long, longer than other schools I've only applied to another one. Got an interview, but it's from 8 to 4, 8 to 3. You walk in, meet and greet, get your name tag, and then they bring you into a classroom. There, the professors or the faculty kind of give you a summary about the school, what they're about, and then you get a tour. And then you're set up into like these different groups. So from A to D, they split it up, and then eventually after the tour and everything, you do like group activities, because Roseman is all about teamwork, right? So they want to make sure that you're able to work well with others and trying to come up with different ideas. And that's another thing that they do, is like they like people that are innovative, think outside the box. So they don't really I feel like they don't look at high GPA. I mean, they look at that obviously if you have high GPA, high scores, but they want you to be a well-rounded student. I mean, most schools look for that now. In the past they haven't, but I think that's the trend that I'm seeing.
Definitely. Okay.
And after that, you interview with 2 professors and then 1 student. So that's like you have a panel interview. But I just heard that for this year's upcoming cycle, or for the 2024, they did 2 students and 1 faculty. So I don't know what the change is about, but I've always had the 2 faculty or 2 professors and then 1 student.
Okay. And so, so I was going to ask you, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit offline, but like, was there anything in the actual interview at Roseman that kind of, made you comfortable in making that your final decision?
Yeah. So I really think that the people that they select, like the students that they choose to go to their school, they're all super helpful. Like, I've gone through other schools, like even like a tour and everything. And some are friendly, some are not, but I feel like everyone at Roseman is super friendly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the air quality here is good, or like we're up in the mountains, but it's just, everyone's just super nice. And I think everyone's just happy to be there. And so that's something that I was like, this is a place.
Right. And for those who don't know, Roseman is actually in Utah. So yeah. Because some people are like, where is Roseman? Because for the longest, I wasn't sure where Roseman was, but it's in Utah. Yeah. So, great outdoors. I'm assuming it's cold most of the time, or no? Is that the wrong assumption, or?
So this is the first time I've ever lived in snow, because I'm originally from California, right? But, so it does snow. So it gets really hot in the summer, I heard. So I was here from July to August, and then September, and it was sort of hot. But then started October till now, I mean, you can still see snow out there. I mean, right now it's about probably like 30 degrees outside. But you get acclimated. Like,
right. You get used to it.
I know you're from Atlanta, but you lived in Boston, so
yeah. But I think Boston right now is like 50, but
okay.
Yes, but still, I mean, you do get used to it. You get used to the cold, and especially like when you can see mountains outside. That's crazy. I can't see mountains outside in Boston. So anyway, I want to ask about your first year. I know that we're going through unprecedented times, and your first year has been shifted around a little bit. But can you kind of walk us through what it's like to be a first-year student at Roseman? So, like, what are your didactic classes like? What is your clinical exposure, if any? And are y'all even able to like drill right now or anything like that?
Yeah. Okay. So this is what's something that I found that it's really awesome about Roseman is our first week orientation, first week and a half, and then the second week we were already in the sim clinic. You know, they already gave us all our, you know, our sim clinic chair, all our instruments, and then we already started drilling. I mean, we started off those blocks, you know,
Yeah.
just kind of,
Yeah.
we did that, and then eventually, I think the following week. So clinically, I think they're really good because we do restorative 1 to 5. I think the last thing, so it's all spread out throughout the year. Last thing what we did was doing crown preps and
Wow. First year?
yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's
And then
good. That's awesome.
it's harder than I thought.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Especially on like a plastic tooth. You know, of course, in an actual tooth, it's very different. I always say like drilling on a plastic tooth is a lot harder than drilling on an actual tooth. I feel like plastic
Yeah.
tooth is like less room for error. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
literally whenever my burr would hit the plastic tooth, it was just like zzz, whereas in a real tooth, you have to like, you can kind of lean into it a little bit more. So it's
Yeah, I
definitely
went through a
different.
lot before the assessment. But and then and then another thing that they started doing was you know, time is the main thing about dentistry, right? You want to be able to do these fillings like very quick and the best that you can. So they started also doing like multiple teeth filling or like multiple teeth, you know, doing something. So then they just cut us off because of Corona. So we were on our way to like, you know, doing so, you know, more of that. But
Right,
so
right.
yeah, so clinically, early start, they get you in the sim clinic right away. And then they also do, so the first, like our didactics, basically we started off with like ethics, public health, and then intro to like anatomy, kind of like just general anatomy. We've touched head and neck, 1, and then we're about to do head and neck 2 soon. But right now, and then we also do, what do we do? Oh yeah, so right now we're doing perio.
Okay.
And then we're doing immunology with it, microbiome. So best thing about Roseman is the block schedule. So we only take these classes like every 2 weeks, and then we get an assessment. So it's from, let's say, like if we were in a classroom setting right now, it'd be from 8 to 5 or 8 to 4. You get an hour lunch break. It's not as bad as you think because sometimes they let you out early, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of like the Roseman model is about making sure like you do, it's more interactive. It's not just like you sit there and just listen to professor. We do activities because the whole classroom is set up into a way like they have breakout rooms for you to kind of like collaborate and come back in and then do something, you know, like, so that's what's nice about it. I mean, I think that's like actually my favorite thing about Roseman. It's the block schedule. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so you've already kind of like told me a lot that's unique about Roseman, but I want to ask you, like, granted you haven't been to every dental school, but like you said, some of your friends have been in dental school. What's something that you know is unique about Roseman? You know, like something that you've heard that none of your other friends have talked about, and you're like, wow, that's cool. Like, I'm glad I came here. You know, is there like anything unique like that?
um so something really, really unique. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of a school that has maybe this is something new. So it's called Roseman Possibilities Team. So so basically it's a group of students that is faculty kind of like guided, but it's more of like how can you, since it's a new school, it's nice to get feedback from the students. Like how did this class go? Did this work? You know, they obviously they look at how many people have passed, and you know, because we do a 90% pass rate for assessment, or else you know do a reassessment and then take it again. But anyways,
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. So you have to make a 90 on every test.
Yes.
Assessment.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so that's the thing. Like the block schedule, it's nice in a way, but then there's also like you
It's
have to.
pressure. Yeah, it's like you got to know what's going. That's. I mean, that's
Yes,
good though.
it's good. It's good. That's what they, it's been working. They've had students graduate and they've been passing the boards. But let me explain a little bit more about that then, since we're on that subject. So you take so after 2 weeks of lecture, you take this assessment, which is typically on a Thursday. So you take it maybe like in the morning, like at 9. You get an hour and a half or so. Um, you take that, and then you also do a team assessment. So within that team assessment, you have like certain groups that you collaborate with. It's basically the same exam, but then you're able to get an extra 5% on your grade.
Mhm.
If you guys meet, you get a 90% on your group exam.
Mhm.
So that added to your score.
Okay.
So yeah, and then they go back to the classroom. Everyone sees their scores, or the professor goes over it at like lunchtime or like at noon, and then you get your grade later on. And if you pass, then you're good.
Right.
If you don't, then you come back the following day. So to do additional learning opportunity where you get to have the professor go over the exam, things that you probably didn't understand well, study over the weekend, and then on Monday you take the reassessment.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what's great about it is you get to. It's not they don't want you to fail. Obviously, they want you to really understand the material, and that's the point of dental school. It's like
Right.
make sure you understand this because this is what's going to be on the boards. So it's been working. So.
And that kind of falls into the whole like you said, it's the didactic side is very interactive. Like that process sounds very interactive. The fact that you're able to like review your tests, you're able to come back with a group doing all these different things. That's very unique. I don't think I've heard of any other dental school that does that. So
Yeah,
that's unique right there. Awesome. So anyway,
okay.
Last question of the interview. If you were able to go back and talk to yourself, 5 years ago when you first applied, what's one piece of advice that you would give yourself?
Um, I'll probably tell myself that I just like be true to myself. I think like for retaking the DATs multiple times, like I could have I think I was I kind of like looked at where everyone is and kind of put yourself in that. It's like, how come I'm not there?
Yeah.
Or like, but making sure that you really understand the material. Like if you set a date for the DATs and you're not ready for it, like just push it. What's another like few months versus a whole year that you have to retake it again. And I think that's the main. Just be true to yourself and really follow your dreams and never give up. I mean, those are the major things. That's why we stuck. That's why we're here. Doesn't matter if we're getting old as long as we get there.
Yeah, I mean, bro, because honestly, like a lot of people would actually give up in your situation. I'm not gonna lie, and I've heard a lot of people, especially. I mean, I'm sure you will too. You come across different people who either want to go to dental school, whatever they may be, and they've given up, and it's sad and it sucks because you can see that defeat like in their eyes. I mean, not to be dramatic, but like it is what it is. And so the fact that you were resilient and dedicated, man, like hats off to you, bro. Like that's very
Thanks, man.
and the fact that you're able to come here and talk to us about that. I know somebody needs to hear this. Like we might bring you on for a different segment, honestly, like because I think that it's a very, very important lesson. Like you can't give up on your dreams, bro. And a lot of people unfortunately do. So
yeah,
it's rough. Anyway, bro, look, I've taken up enough of your time. If there's if people have any questions for you, what's the best way for them to reach out? What's the most convenient way for them to reach out?
All right, sure. So right now I'm on the Instagram break. I'm taking a month off, but
That's great. That's great, honestly.
Yeah. But you can reach me on my Instagram. It's the Tooth Shaper. I know it's a silly name, but Tooth Shaper. So you can follow me there, and then I'll reply to you May 1st because that's when I get back. So
Awesome. I mean, and we'll release these videos, like around mid-April. So around the time that the video is released, I'm sure that it'll be time for you to be back on Instagram. So that works out. But
for sure.
once again, bro, from the FutureDDS family, thank you so much for your time today, your honesty, your transparency, and we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. Hey, it's an honor to be here. This is amazing what you guys are doing. Like, truthfully, like, a lot of people look at this. This is what they, before they get into school, and you guys are inspiring a lot of people. So appreciate it.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. If you have any questions for Terrell and I, you can shoot us a DM on Instagram @_FutureDDS. We're not taking a month off. We probably should, but you can hit us.
It's been good. Try it.
Sometimes it's necessary. But anyway, everybody, until next time, see y'all later.